Greetings, everyone. Welcome to week 6 of English 1A. This week we will be continuing to read selected essays from Best American Essays 2019. And as we do so, we'll be applying Paul Graham's The Age of the Essay to our interpretations of those essays. The lecture this week is focused on the big picture questions that will be in play for Essay 2. You will choose one of these questions and you will have to write a Paul Graham style essay in response to it. The focus last week and the focus this week is on using Paul Graham's essay to help us to read, understand, and analyze essays of the sort that are collected in Best American Essays 2019, which you will have noted does not include very many thesis-driven essays. I have tried to pull out questions that link together a bunch of the essays in Best American Essays 2019 so that you can think about them in relationship to each other, but also so that you can take a stab at some of the questions that these essays are tackling. So as you can see in this screen right now, I have the question, what, if anything, do race and gender have to do with identity? I've got 4 essays from Best American Essays 2019 that you have already read either last week or that you will have already read by the end of this week that tackle that question in one form or another. Jabari Asim's Getting It Twisted, Masha Gessen's Stories of a Life, Lacey M. Johnson's On Likeability, Walter Johnson's Guns in the Family. So as you read particularly those last 3 stories, do keep in mind the ways in which they are in conversation with Jabari Asim's essay, Getting It Twisted, but more broadly have to do with a focus on identity as it's constituted by race and or gender. Another big picture question you're going to be focusing on in this week's worth of reading. You've already tackled the first of these 2 essays. You're going to tackle the second one later this week. From where, if anywhere, can hope emerge about climate change? Ariza's essay you read last week, which offers you one take on what to do with climate change and hope. Lanham's essay is going to be the crit assignment this week, as Ariza's was last week, and that's not by mistake. I do want you to think about how these essays are trying to figure out a way to identify a source of hope when it comes to doing something about man-made climate change. By the end of this week, you'll have read Colbert's essay, How to Write About a Vanishing World. Last week, you read Camille Dungy's Is All Writing Environmental Writing? And I think that question is pregnant for thinking about both of these essays in relationship to each other. Dungy made a very strong case for saying that if writing avoids talking about nature or avoids talking about the environment, that itself is a conscious omission. And by virtue of that fact, is itself saying something about environmental writing, or is itself reflecting environmental writing in some form or fashion? Colbert's essay approaches this issue in a different way, but no less powerfully and provocatively. Now, the last set of questions, or last question that you will have in play for Essay 2 is what is to be done about male violence against women? A bunch of these essays you will read next week. The first of these thematically related essays you will read this week, however, Lily Loughborough's Men Are More Afraid Than Ever, which is her scathing account of whether or not the men who have been #MeToo'd have suffered enough. Spoiler alert, her answer is no. This is a quite striking essay, and it's an essay that will be returned to in next week's reading. So I give you this survey right now, both to cue you for what to be on the lookout as you read, but also you should start thinking about which of these questions you would like to take a stab at in a Paul Graham style essay, because that will be the assignment next week, about which I will have more to say when we get to that assignment next week. Okay, please get in touch with me via Canvas inbox or Q&A Cafe should any questions arise, and good luck with this week's assignments.